Yes, hello children. I do believe you might remember me. My name is Professor Pumpernickel, in case you forgot. And Mrs. McNutt has again asked me to contribute to this video converting between decimals and fractions because, as you know, I am a ratio expert. And fractions are ratios. And as we will see in this video, decimals, you can see those as ratios as well. So, I believe we shall have so much fun together, and I'm really looking forward to this video, so here we go! Alright, now, Mrs. McNutt told me that some of you already know a little bit about this, so she said if you wanted to make your notes short and sweet that you could do that, but please make sure you write something down. Okay, so first thing, taking decimals into fractions. That's what we're working on first. So you start with a decimal. Oh, there it is. Mrs. McNutt told me you might like this one. The lightsaber pointer, yes. So you turn the decimal into the fraction. So we're going to use decimal place value to turn the decimal into a fraction with a denominator of some multiple of 10. And then when I say multiple, I don't just mean 10, 20, 30, 40. I mean multiple as in you did 10 times 10 times 10, a certain number of 10. So you either use a 10 or you do 10 times 10 is 100. Or 10 times 10 times 10 is 1,000. So those are the type of things that we're looking for. A 1 and a certain number of zeros. That's what we want. And then after that we simplify. So let's look at some examples. Let's start with this 6/10 right here. Notice, how did I just say that decimal? Well, I said 6/10. So let's write it like that. 6/10. Oh, that's beautiful. Very, very good. Okay, so now we simplify the fraction. We notice that the top and the bottom, I mean the numerator and the denominator, right? Because I'm being precise with my language. They are divisible by 2. So here we go. 3 over 5. Yes, so here we have a decimal of 6/10 that we turned into a fraction of 3/5. Yes, so that is what you're looking for. Okay, now, the next one is 34 hundredths. Now, do you understand why Mrs. McNutt had you review the place value today in class? Yes, because you needed to know it, so when you see something like 34 hundredths, you know how to turn that into a fraction. 34 over 100 equals. Okay, because now we have to simplify. So 34 is divisible by 2, and so is 100. So divide by 2, 17 over 50. 17 is not divisible by anything except 1 and 17, and 1 wouldn't help us, and 50 is not divisible by 17, so that is where we leave it. Simplified. Yes, good. Now, the next one, 475 thousandths. So let's write that as a fraction. Okay, good. Now we can divide. 475 divided by 5 is 95. And 1,000 divided by 5 is 200. Oh, look! They're divisible by another 5. If you saw right away that they were both divisible by 25, that's great. You can do that right away. But I didn't know that. I'm a ratio expert, but I can't see everything right away. So 95 divided by 5, well, that is 19. And 200 divided by 5 is 40. Yes. So that is our answer for that number. 19 over 40. So that is how you turn a decimal into a fraction. Now let's look at the other way. Alright, now when you turn a fraction into a decimal, you have two different methods you can use. I'm going to show you both, and you can pick which one you want to do. But the first method is long division. You can divide the numerator by the denominator. Make sure the numerator goes inside the division symbol. So for this one, 3 divided by 5. How many times does 5 go into 3? Well, it doesn't, but does 5 go into 30? Yes, 6 times. So here we go. Here's our answer. 6/10. There it is. There's your decimal. Now, 7 divided by 9. Good. 9 does not go into 7, but it does go into 70. How many times? Well, 7. And 7 times 9 is 63. So, yes, if we subtract, we get 7. Oh, we need another 0. 70. So we put another 7. 7 times 9. 63. Sorry, I'm going a little crooked here. Then another 7. Oh, do you see a pattern? Yes, yes you do. 7, 7, 7, 7. It just keeps going. Do you know what you use when you have a repeating decimal? If you said repeating bar, you are right. We're going to say 0.7, so 7/10, repeating. That little bar tells us that we are going to see 7s over and over and over again into infinity. That's how you would write that one. It's very, very helpful. Okay, now we have 4/17. So 4 divided by 17. We might need a couple extra zeros here. Now, how many times does 17 go into 40? Well, it goes in twice. That makes it 34. And we subtract and we get 6. Bring down the 0. And that goes in 3 times. And that would be 51. Now we subtract here, we get 9, 0. Good. How many times does 17 go into 90? Well, I believe that's 7 times. Now, every fraction that you turn into a decimal, either it's going to stop eventually or it's going to repeat, okay? Now, this decimal would eventually repeat, but we don't have time to get to it. We don't need all the decimal places. So you can just stop at 3. You can stop at the 1,000th. I will give you permission. You can just stop there, okay? Okay, good. Okay, so the last option you have, method 2, is change denominators. And this method works better when your denominator that you have already has a 5 and maybe some 2's in it. So, for instance, this one right here is a 5. That's easy to make into a multiple of 10, okay? And this is a 20, so it has a 5 in it already as a factor, and there's some 2's in here too. It's divisible by 2. Same thing with this one. So this is a good method when you have some 5's in your denominator. Okay, so first thing we're going to do is 4/5. Well, that's easy to turn it into tenths, right? It's easy to turn fifths into tenths because we just times 2. Times 2, you know the little dot means times. Times 2, so 8/10. Oh, that was so easy. What about 20ths? Well, 20ths we can turn into 100ths. Yes, yes, yes. Oh, wait. We didn't turn it into a decimal. We just turned it into a different fraction for the 8/10. Yes, so then we would say, 8/10. There we go. That's the answer. We need to make sure we finish the question. Okay. So, yes, now we need to turn this one into a decimal. So we're going to turn it into hundredths. So we would say times 5 gives you 65 over 100. So this 65 hundredths. Yes. Okay, that's marvelous. Very, very good. Now, 137 over 250. If we multiply both of those by 4, we get thousandths. So that is, oh my, I don't know that I can do that in my head. 137 times 4, 8, carry the 2, 12, 4, carry the 1, 5. Okay, so 548 over 1,000. We turn that into a decimal. Oh, yes. Now, some of you might be asking, Mrs. McNutt, excuse me, Professor Pumpernickel, how did you know to use a 4 here? Where did you get that number? How did you know to use a 5 here? Where did you get that number? I'm just turning this into the next multiple of 10 in the sense of 10, 100, 1,000, like that. Okay? So the next one up. So 100 would be too small. So the next one up is 1,000. We can get into 1,000 by multiplying by 4. So that's how I got that number. Good question. Okay? I will see you tomorrow and we will answer any questions. Don't forget a question or a tidbit, and I will see you tomorrow. Mrs. McNutt will see you tomorrow.